Text on screen, inclusive public space. Cycling infrastructure and behaviour in the Netherlands. This film is based on data provided by pedestrians in Almere and Utrecht in 2020 and 2021. Participant names have been changed. In a busy city centre, dozens of cyclists pedal along a segregated cycle lane which runs parallel to a road carrying cars and buses.
The Dutch are famous for their love of cycling. In the Netherlands, there are more bicycles than people. And city infrastructure is often developed so that cycling can be part of everyday life.
At both sides of the busy street, several people wait at a pedestrian crossing, where the red man is illuminated.
All this is very positive, but the focus on cyclists can sometimes lead to other groups being overlooked.
The pedestrians continue to wait as cyclists and other forms of traffic pass by.
In this film, we highlight how cycling infrastructure and cyclist behavior can create difficulties and dangers for pedestrians with disabilities and children in particular.
The green man illuminates as the bus passes over the pedestrian crossing. Once it has passed by, several pedestrians cross to the other side.
Our Almere and Utrecht participants reflected on the impact of sharing space with cyclists, highlighting how this puts many at the higher risk of collusion.
On a narrow road with one lane for motorized traffic, the pavement on each side is cluttered with parked bicycles, motorized scooters, bollards and cafe furniture, including tables, chairs and signs. Pedestrians are forced to squeeze past a large truck, which is parked on the road.
Famke, who also has visual impairments, said, "There is bicycle traffic and walking traffic and everything mixes chaotically." Bert, a father of a disabled child, recalled several unpleasant encounters with cyclists in shared space. "I've collided with a cyclist 2 or 3 times already."
Cyclists pass by on a road, with several more on a nearby pavement, including one weaving back and forth across the walkway.
"I think the pedestrian has the right of way, but cyclists almost never think so."
Cyclists cross a wide bridge over a canal. A woman using a short white cane to assist her with navigation crosses the bridge using a narrow pathway to the side.
Crossing cycle traffic also presents its hazards. Nila from Utrecht, who has a visual impairment, told us how a lack of awareness or thoughtfulness on the part of cyclists made it very difficult for her to cross the road, even at dedicated crossing points.
Once across the bridge, she stops at a curb beside a road and waits while cyclists and motorized scooters pedal past.
Indeed, I had cyclists that cycle into my stick and then start ranting at me. "What are you doing there with your stick? Keep that with you. Can't you see that I'm coming?" And then I think, I indeed cannot see that. That's why I have this stick.
As cyclists continue to pass her in different directions, the woman with the white cane crosses to a patch of grass on the other side of the road, then waits again.
But it's not known to everyone exactly what we mean when we stand waving those sticks along the curb.
An elderly woman crosses a road onto a grass-lined pedestrian walkway. As she begins to walk on the uneven and cracked walkway, she loses her balance.
Saskia from Almere, who has multiple impairments, including a visual one, told us of similar experiences.
A bicycle crosses tactile markings on a pavement, then moves onto the road. A man with dark glasses and a long white cane approaches a lane of motorized traffic with no traffic-controlled pedestrian crossing. He raises his white cane to indicate his right-of-way, then tapping it on the ground as he crosses. He continues onwards, completing the same procedure across a cycle lane.
She said crossing bicycle lanes is tricky and cyclists in generally don't know at all what it means when you walk with a cane. A lot of people are not aware of that you should also have the right of way when you raise your stick. Crossing roads with busy cycle traffic is difficult, not only for pedestrians with disabilities, but also for those who are looking after young children.
A woman crosses the road at a pedestrian crossing with a pushchair with the green man illuminated. As she crosses, cyclists zip past across her path. Behind her, a middle-aged man walks slowly across, with cyclists also cutting across his path.
Bird added, I'm hugely generalizing, but many cyclists, they are only concerned with getting from A to B as quickly as possible. And everyone has to give way to that. I have never seen a cyclist, or almost never seen a cyclist, stop for a pedestrian crossing. Some of our participants who use mobility devices also brought up the problem of speedy cyclists.
The man stands on the curb, waiting to cross a busy cycle lane.
For example, Senna from Almere said, "It's pretty dangerous for me in my wheelchair. They see me often too late. In some way or another, in my wheelchair, 9 times out of 10, I'm out of their sight. So if I'm not noticed, then really dangerous situations arise."
A man in an electric wheelchair waits by a cycle lane bridge over a canal. Once several cyclists have passed by, he crosses the bridge.
Similarly, Esme from Utrecht said, "I have a chair that goes pretty fast. I always take the bicycle lane these days. And those bicycle lanes, they're nice. That's fine material to ride on. The only thing inconvenient about it is that as a wheelchair user, you are wider and slower than a bicycle."
He reaches the other side of the bridge. The surface, made of small paving slabs in a zigzag pattern, is uneven. He steers between 2 red and white bollards, and a bicycle passes close by, heading in the opposite direction.
And when it's busy, which is quite often, I don't feel safe. Don't like driving there because you'll be overtaken left and right.
A wheelchair user wheels across a wide, cycle-friendly bridge over a canal. A cyclist passes by in the opposite direction.
But when I ride there at the quieter moments, I love it. Those bicycle lanes are wonderful.
A woman with a pushchair and 2 daughters, one on a balance bike, the other on a push scooter, waits on a pavement in a suburban area. The surrounding streets have a lot of parked cars.
Juna, a mother who used a pram or a wagon when out with her children, told us about the stress and anxiety she experienced when trying to get around in the neighborhood. And in the rush hours, it was terrible. People were riding their bikes fast. How can we make sure that's more mindful of everybody?
Cyclists travel quickly down a narrow cycle lane which cuts through a woodland. The slow-paced man walks along a pavement through a park as children walk to school in the opposite direction, wearing high-vis vests. Cyclists pass by on a cycle lane which runs parallel.
Having consideration for the fact that children can run into the street, so to speak, or that they don't stay neatly on my side. Somewhere along the way, you'd like people to take more care of each other.
A couple walk with a pushchair along a pavement in a suburban street.
And that applies to me as a mother, but I imagine it also applies to people who, for other reasons, feel vulnerable on the street.
A wheelchair user wheels across an unmarked crossroads as a bicycle passes close by. She pauses at the curb, lifting her front wheels in the air in order to access the pavement. In a city centre, cyclists turn a corner, converging into a wider, busy lane of cycle traffic.
Although cycling is an extremely important part of city life in the Netherlands, interacting with cyclists is an ongoing challenge and danger for many people.
A wheelchair user prepares to cross the road at the other side, using a wide, clearly marked zebra crossing. A cyclist veers from the cycle lane onto the pavement, narrowly missing them. A family, including a small child in a pushchair, walk across a pedestrianised walkway near a cafe. Several bicycles are parked nearby, obscuring the entrance to the cafe.
Greater child and disability awareness and more considered cycling would undoubtedly help. But many of the problems highlighted in this film are connected to infrastructure and regulation which encourages high-speed cycling, without giving pedestrians clear protected space or priority crossing opportunities.
Holding her white cane, the woman with the white cane walks over a bridge which is busy with bicycles, electric scooters and pedestrians coming in both directions. The centre of the bridge is blocked by two large bollards. She steps from a narrow pavement onto the cycle path, checking twice behind to ensure it is safe. Text on screen. We thank Yvonne Scherpenisa, Toby van den Berg, Rob Remmen, Johan de Wieser, Esther Hachelaar, Vincent Neal, Claudia, Nell van der Heijden, and all our pedestrian participants for sharing their experiences and making this film possible. Videographers Pleuren, Dick Hoytzacker and Morgan Campbell. Narration Edwin Leitzen de Vaz. Access materials Screen language. This film emerges from a research partnership between the University of Leeds, UK, and Disability Studies in Netherlands, and is part of the Inclusive Public Space Project. The Inclusive Public Space Project at the University of Leeds has received funding from the European Research Council under the European Union's 2020 Research and Innovation Programme, grant agreement number 787258. To learn more, visit ips-project.leeds.ac.uk.